Liverpool win the Merseyside derby. Manchester City are too good for a Brighton side. And Manchester United scrap yet another win away from home. And Chelsea have taken the reins, have taken the name, the Butlers. We discuss that and more on the Soccer Huddle. Welcome to the Soccer Huddle. This is your boy Mujera Waiz, just an ordinary guy discussing the beautiful game, discussing But before I even start discussing the beautiful game, I just want to say congratulations as a proud South African, to say congratulations to the Boks, congratulations to the Springboks having made it to the 2023 Rugby World Cup. I was on the edge of my seat from minute 1 until minute 80. I'm like, this sport is not normal, guys. Hi Utlamenya. Hi Utlamenya. But a well thought out team effort came from behind. We've never led in that game. England led all the way until the 76th minute when Handra Pollack took that last penalty for us and won us the game. So yeah, we look forward to Sunday's final against the All Blacks, against our old rivals, the All Blacks. But anyways, we are not there for that, but we just want to say congratulations to the Springboks making it to another World Cup final. Hopefully they make it 2 in a row and make it 4 World Cups. So yeah, let's go dive into it. Liverpool against Everton, a midday clash at Anfield, where we saw two teams really going for it. Where we saw what we mean when we say not a Soweto derby, man. When we mean a soccer rivalry, a soccer derby, and that's exactly what happened. I think both teams went for it, and unfortunately on the day, Liverpool were just too much for Everton. They had too much quality for Everton. I was saying this the other week that Mo Salah, even though he wasn't playing, he doesn't play well in games, but he always affects the games. Whether it's an assist or whether it's a goal, but he affects and he contributes to his team. And I think, and I know a lot of people might not see this, might not even say that, but I think there's one man that is also in contention or should also be in discussions when we speak about signings of the season. And I think Liverpool's number 8 deserves that as well. Szoboszlai, I think he's just a dynamic player. He just improved that Liverpool midfield. Elohering were struggling from last season, and you have to give it to Klopp. Klopp has rebuilt his midfield from the scratch and to where it is now. He bought himself a new midfield combination, and it works. They've struggled a bit, but I think so far Liverpool are now title contenders, whether we like it or not. They are title contenders. And that midfield with Szoboszlai is in it, with McAllister in it, and maybe with Endo, with Gravenberch, and they add that as well. So a red card that Ashley Young saw with 2 similar tackles as well to Luis Diaz. I don't know what he was thinking as an experienced campaigner, doing such silly mistakes. I don't know what he was doing. But Liverpool won that game 2-1, and they head up the table as well. Then we go to our next match. The former champions or the current champions, last day because I said former champions and not current champions, and they are both former and current champions, to be honest. They are former and they're both current champions. 2-1 to Brighton. I think a lot of us expected a much difficult game than it was. Manchester City got their 2 goals and they looked to be cruising nicely until that equalizer at Brighton, but yeah, it was for me. I don't know. It's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you think. It wasn't as entertaining as it was anticipated, because we all know the two teams, ball playing teams, both playing managers, a similar sort of approach to the game, and for me, it didn't live up to expectations as I thought it would. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I felt Yeah, it was just one of those games. It was just one of those games, and it was just one of those games where the champions just ran with it. And 2-1 scoreline, as long as they get the 3 points in the back, as long as they maintain coming from a 2-game losing streak, not even two, a 3-game losing streak in the league, to get a win against a strong side, Brighton, a side that a lot of people are afraid of. I think for Pep, he would just take it. He would take it. I think he will not, obviously not be happy. As you know, Pep always strives for greatness, always strives for perfection, and I think they would take it. And they're going into a Champions League game. I think both teams have midweek action games, and for me, guys, I don't know what to say anymore. I'm sorry, but for me, it didn't live up to expectations, and we saw the injury. Yeah. Welbeck, then again injury. Like the game was just ruined by injuries. I think Brighton had like 4 or 3 players that got out injured, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember Welbeck. Let me just check. I don't want to lie to you guys. I remember Welbeck went out injured. Joe Pedro went out injured as well. So yeah, it was just games that were ruined by and obviously a red card to Akanji, leading up to the big one, the Sunday, the derby. Yeah, we'll see what happens. My team. I just wanted to check something there, guys. Sorry. Manchester United grind a result again at Sheffield United. Yeah, a win is a win. In memory of Sir Bobby Charlton, yeah. Yeah, a win is a win. Again, a Scott McTominay goal, and I was listening to someone this morning. I am not sure if he was right or wrong, and I still need to check the facts. And I'll get back to you if I am wrong. But I had a stat about how many passes did each and every Manchester United player made on the day. And you would be surprised. Because I was speaking to Bazero earlier today, funny enough. Scott McTominay had 6 passes in the game until he was substituted. 6 passes. Where does he play? Where do we fit Scott McTominay in? Because he is definitely not a number 6. Definitely, he is not a number 8. So is he supposed to play as a number 10 or as a striker for Man United? And if you agree that he's supposed to be a striker, then I will ask you a simple question: out of the top 6 teams, which team would play Scott McTominay as their striker? And why should Manchester United play him as a striker? I saw for the first time, I don't know if maybe other times I've missed it, I saw for the first time, Erik ten Hag was shouting, angry, agitated. And I think he was so right to do it. I think it was the right moment for him to do it. I've known Erik as the calm man. He doesn't say much. If people don't do it, you can see his facial expressions if he wants to express something. But this time around, he was actually screaming at someone because they were not doing what he was saying them to. And for me, why I say it's a good thing is because now we would be able to go back and say it means the players are not playing the way he wants them to play and not doing what he instructs them to do. And then you ask yourself now, Babambar, we are 6 points of number 1 spot, which is not bad. That's like 2 games. But having looked at our form, and it's very surprising if you looked at our form, we are just 6 points from the top. Wow. Now, what's going to happen now? We've just realized already we are not being bought by Qatar. We are still remaining with the same regime that for 20 plus years have been running the team to the ground. Now you've got players who can play this type of style the manager wants them to play. And you want him to continue with them. What's going to happen? What's the future for Manchester United? What's the future for Manchester United? Rashford are out of form. Anthony out of form. Bruno out of form. But then, if he takes them out, who does he put it? Does he put the kids in? Does he throw the kids into the deep water? What if they drown? Obviously, there's two possibilities. They might swim and excel, and they might drown as well. And when they drown, who's gonna take blame? It is just one of those. I think, yeah, it is just one of those. Yeah, Newcastle too good for Crystal Palace. Newcastle continuing on their winning streak, and they're also in action in Europe for the Champions League. They put 4 against Crystal Palace. I was just surprised. 4 against Crystal Palace team. We've known they can defend well, and when they get a chance, they will just punish you. But in this game, they were played out of the park, and Crystal Palace looked like a relegation threatened team. Speaking of that, Aston Villa as well at home, 3 or 4 against West Ham, 4-1. Unai, guys, go look at the stats when Unai Emery took over at Aston Villa. Look at all the teams from when he started until now. Go look at it and come back to me and tell me. They're just continuing on their form. I think they've said Aston Villa have won, I think 9 or 7 straight home wins this season. Like 9 straight home wins in 9. They've won 9 games in a row so far, home games. So at Villa Park, they've made it a fortress, and that's what's supposed to happen. You should make your team, your home ground as your fortress. People must not just come to your team or your home and think they can get 3 points and run away with no. And I think it's becoming very interesting in the EPL. You've got your traditional top 4 now being scrapped. And new teams are emerging. New managers are emerging, and new teams are raising their hands. You've got Aston Villa, you've got Newcastle, you've got West Ham. Tottenham are also under big edge, are coming up. Fulham as well. They just seem to just go low at the moment, and Brentford as well. But you've got about 6-8 teams that will be fighting for the top 4. And the other 2 teams were Chelsea and Arsenal playing to a 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge. A game, if Otseni at halftime, or if Otseni in the 55th minute, you would have thought Chelsea would have won that game. Not 50, sorry. If you came into that game, Osa level of the game, and you came in, and in the 77th minute, you would thought Chelsea had won the game. And they had they had chances to bury the game. I thought Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez they made Odegaard and Declan Rice, they kept them quiet. For me, just me. Let me know what you think as well. I think they kept them quiet. I think Arteta, I am not sure what is Arteta trying to do at Arsenal. But whatever he's trying to do, it's not working at the moment. It is not working. And Escali, I think the only thing that works in his favor is they're gaining results. They're winning the crucial games, and they're drawing those games. They're coming from behind, and they're showing the team spirit. And obviously from a previous season, we could see what he's trying to do now. But he must just be careful. That's all I'm going to say. He must just be careful of his experiments. Chelsea have become the new bottlers now. They've bottled that game. 77th minute, Declan Rice comes. Not even Declan Rice. Roberto Sanchez makes a horror mistake. I don't know who he was trying to pass to. He was just too casual. Declan Rice punishes to it. Trossard comes in, and they could have won that game, Arsenal. They had 2-3 chances after equalizing. David Raya, we saw he got caught out of his goal post. He got caught. Chelsea should have buried that game. I don't know what Pochettino was doing, and I think they got casual. They thought they had won the game. And I think it's a lesson for other managers in the EPL that the game is not over until the fatling sings. That's an old saying, but it's an old cliche, but it still works. It is not over until the fatling sings, which is the referee. You play until the last minute. You do not win a match in the 45 minutes. You do not win a match in the 77th minute. You win a match 90 plus, whatever minutes will be added. And they bottled it. But we at least we saw good signs. Yeah, Chelsea. I think we like they were good signs that Potter can take out of that match. That they went pound to one of the favorites for the league this season. And at some stage, they led them. And at some stage, they dominated Arsenal. I think for me, that's why Caicedo and Enzo in that middle of the park played Odegaard and Rice out of the game. So there were phases in that game that made me think like, oh yeah, I think Poch is doing something there. Until that rather mistake Sanchez and Arsenal equalizing. That's it. Anyways, Champions League back this week. Preview. Hopefully we can do it. And maybe preview or review. Preview or review. Or even maybe a watch along or a mini preview watch along before the match starts. We'll see. I'll keep you in. Just keep a lookout on the channel. And obviously, until we meet again, remember, prevention is better than cure. Don't risk it unless it's worth it. Remember, just like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until we meet again. Ciao.